Hello dudes, it's me, Mighty the Armadillo here, and we are back for more of yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Wario Land 3 for the Game Boy Color. So last time we actually did collected all of these music coins in the north sector of the entirety of the music box, and today we're going to be exploring through the west sector when it comes to the forms of getting those music coins. Now, as far as the forms of any other levels are concerned, in regards to the forms of the west sector, the Desert Ruins is actually not too bad though, honestly. Even though that the first two is obviously on the quicksand section, if you find the actual breakable block that you can able to ground pound on. And also, for the majority of the time, it doesn't matter if it's either day or night, depending on what specific stuff you go to. So in this case though, we're about to be heading into the actual sun area, so because of that though, for trying to able to obtain the music coins or what have you, but regardless of such though, there's honestly not much else I can talk about, because, well, usually potentially speaking, it's just the fact of the matter is though, is that today's day is of course the 12th of October today, in this case in 2021. I'm sure that Maxi has already mentioned about, during his gifts that he's gone through for the sake of his birthday yesterday, so because of that, and, yeah, I don't feel like trying to mention about that again, just because, well, obviously that, in addition to those specific stuff I'd like to mention, is that the Pokemon games, specifically Black and White 2 for the DS, was, pretty much now 9 years old. So because of that, though, and during that specific time, though, also, that Pokemon X and Y for the 3DS did manage to came out for about 8 years ago now. So because of that, though, get it, because it's the 12th of October, so because of that, though, I do apologize for that particular, well, tongue twisting in the end, folks. So, and yeah, there's gonna be plenty of times that, as you can see on screen, that we have to able to use one of the enemies to break those specific blocks. And finally, for the last few music coins to be found in this particular level, and that is the fact that we have to not only transform into Vampire Wario to get that music coin from up there, but also there's going to be the last music coin in Desert Ruins, well, trying to able to obtain, I would classify for saying if you're trying to activate the switch, so assuming if you're able to try to approach to the actual boss against with the forms of that yellow gloomy, well, it's kind of hard to able to say about this for the most part, because I know it has been like, well, I won't classify for saying it's almost been like 5 days ago since I actually last touched this game. Well, clearly because of how the fact that, well, obviously, well, Jewel, she's pretty much finished up with the main boards in Mario Party 6 before now she moves on to the extra stuff. So because of that though, and also that Maxi, he's pretty much almost at the halfway point in terms of likely, well, he's pretty much almost done with Banjo-Tooie for the sake of time. So anyways, here we go into the Volcano Base. Now, it is possible that you can able to actually get all of those music coins before the final boss of the game, which is of course Rudy Clown. But regardless of for this playthrough, I'm actually going to be able to try to show you guys where the actual the music coins are. So because of that, though, there's a good thing that we actually saved these up until for last, because obviously that again, it's entirely optional if you're really curious to see what the reward is supposed to be. So yeah, you probably get the idea about the actual what the reward itself could be. So either way, though. Not much else I can say, because obviously I've already mentioned about the forms of this that I no longer have Mega Man 11 on the PlayStation 4, just because, well, trophies list is pretty difficult in my opinion, and also because of how the way that I'm pretty much going to be stuck with the Nintendo Switch from now on, because usually Nintendo Switch is doing super well. So, but that's for my honest taste for this point, especially noticeable that well, there's not much else I can say, really, so, but I digress. So, either way, though, we can able to actually just to, like, try to cope with the forms of, Well, aside from those side of things though, we've only got about 17 days to go until specifically Mario Party Superstars for the Nintendo Switch will be releasing, because let me know in the comments below for the question of the day. Are you guys still excited to able to play Mario Party Superstars for the Nintendo Switch when that comes out? Because I surely do, because obviously I can't wait to see some of these mini games return, but this time on full HD rather than just becoming like a pixelated look for the sake of the forms of comparison to the top 100 version, because you know how you guys felt about you forms of trying to able to experience the past mini games within a pixelated look, and it does feel a little bit kind of off and also downscaled at the same time. Like usually for certain mini games from Mario Party 9 and Mario Party 10 returning, that the actual visual style was actually like decreasing it, well, at least for the most part anyway. Now, if you couldn't tell already, I actually did a lot of jump cuts for this level, because for the love of God, I always keep on getting myself soft-locked, specifically if you're trying to climb onto this vine, and as a result, I'm basically just soft-locked when it comes to like getting the music coins, which it doesn't matter if you can either able to actually pause the thing or trying to exit it out or whatever, but it's just it kind of feels inconsistent sometimes with that particular, well, the actual collusion thing right there. Even especially noticeable, like, if you're trying to grab onto the vine for the first time, and then chances are you're probably gonna get stuck, and then there's no way you can get up. So, yeah, that's something worth classifying for noticing there, so. Yeah, for the most part though, that the Volcano Base's music coins is actually not too shabby for the most part, and thankfully, the Pool of Rain is actually pretty easy to get, assuming if there aren't any complications around. Like, for the most part, if you're trying to follow for this video footage alone, you can probably guarantee it about the fact that this is easily the easiest level to able to get every single music coins from, because some of them are quite close to each other, and also that 3 of those music coins are actually on the same place. Like usually, for instance, in the actual, the Water Rapids section, well, basically, if you fully powered up on anything else, to be more specific, that way you can instantly manage to get yourselves every single of those music coins straight away, within the quickest time if possible. So, yeah, that's actually pretty swell and awesome at the same time, because obviously that without any of those abilities, or specifically with the actual, the much more stronger swim ability, then you're probably not going to make it somehow. So, A Town in Chaos, oh man, this will be kind of complicated at first, but then as soon as you realize what the forms of how the fact that it's actually not too shabby for the most part, until you're able to actually decide to do a bit of tedium involved. Like, for instance, for example, in the green key routes that I was going to be able to show this off later, because for the most part though, the first music coin is actually almost right near to where the red key is, so if you want to get out, there's actually that breakable wall you can able to bash through, so. And the second music coin, that some people seem to have struggled at first, but then I found out that, yes, just like before, we have to use the enemy to break one of those little special like blocks, and then that way you can able to obtain the next music coin. Apparently I was wrong last time, but when it comes to able to trying to deal with the forms of likely in some segments of A Town in Chaos, if you're trying to able to come across into shots, or in this case shoot, as the actual boss fight, that apparently it doesn't matter if it's either day or night. Like, you can either make it to the zombie room and then, well, it might be hard to explain, because I know it has been like 5 days since I actually last touched this game after all, so yeah, forgive me if I botched it. So anyway, so the next 3 music coins is essentially going to be the last, or actually, kind of think about it, the last one is going to be on the blue chest, but for the most part, the next 3 music coins are going to be exactly on the green key route, and you have to traverse through different rooms, so that way you can able to actually get not 1, not 2, but 3 music coins if you make your way to the top. So because of that though, but again, it's all about constantly trying to activate or deactivating the switch throughout during your forms of some rooms, and because of that though, it's just multitasking. But thankfully, for the most part, the final music coin is just pretty easy, so just get out able to do that, and then trying to pick up the enemy in the process, and then trying to throw at the right angle, like I was going to be doing on that specific spot, and that way you should able to break even more enemy blocks, and then if you fly all the way higher up, and you should get the last music coin in a town in chaos. So, and thankfully the blue chest road is actually not too far from here, despite the fact that we've already obtained one of the items from that blue chest alone. So, yeah, there's not much else I can talk about this, aside from the fact that, well, I'm sure that Merxy has already mentioned about some stuff a lot during the course of Banjo-Tooie Let's Play after all, so... Anyway, so let's go and get started with Beneath the Waves, and basically the first music coin is actually located right where the grey key was, and again, as I mentioned this before, since, well, the North Sector portion is the fact that this is going to be post-commentary, because I don't feel like trying to go for this whole entire, well, mess around all over the place, I'm telling you, so... And the next music coin is actually going to be, well, you're going to have to be able to make your way to that particular, you know, jet streams and stuff like that. And, I believe the next few, music coins is almost going to be located almost right near to the red key is. Well, first of all, before we get into that, though, we have to navigate for this little, blocky structure maze, and that way you can get your next music coin. And after that, we need to bust out these blocks over here to, not only we can able to actually just meet up with that particular hammer-like enemy, but also we can able to get ourselves our next music coin, but it only requires you to able to use Bouncy Wario to obtain it. But that doesn't end off here, because there's also another one on the other side, so we can able to, well, bash those blocks from there, and you should able to not only get the red key, but also the next music coin just over here. So, not too shabby for the most part though, especially noticeable that it's pretty easy to able to understand the actual situations worth noting for. The next music coin requires you to become Frozen Wario if you manage to slip for those spikes. That way you should be able to be good to go. Now the next music coin is pretty picky and difficult, because you have to deal with an exact timing with your jump, and if you time it well enough, then you should be able to get that music coin in the process. And the last music coin is just right where the blue chest is, so basically you have to do that, and that's all you have to do for the sake of this particular last music coin and stuff like that. So, and since we've pretty much completely done with the second row, and now we're entering the third row, and of course we'll do the last level in the west sector, and that is, of course, the west crater. So because of that, I think right from the get-go, the first music coin is just right over there, but to do that, we need to be able to use an enemy to be able to bounce off of, until you're able to get that music coin. Now the next two music coins is going to be on that, well, not only the green key route, but also the green chest route. So, yeah, some of them might actually be tricky at first, because again, you have to rely on a crouch jumping technique until you're able to make things a bit easier. So, but again, you have to be like, not too rushed out or anything else to be more specific. You just got to be like, well, be patient and also just, well, be patient. So that's all you really have to say about this for the most part, honestly. So, anyway, we got that at least. So, now we're able to actually move on to the next part, where we have to do with a trolley ride. Well, you know, trying to avoid those flames and all the other jazz, and if you try to avoid those flames well enough, if you manage to go onto the second trolley, almost right near to the second trolley, then you would get the next music coin. Now the next music coin is almost right near to where the red key is, while simply able to use an enemy to able to defeat or destroy those enemy blocks in particular, so not too shabby for the most part if you get the hang of it. Now the next two music coins is actually going to be located somewhere on the blue key route, and the first one is pretty simple. You're just going to have to be able to become Fatter Wario to break those donut blocks. Now the second one out of the two though, we need to require to complete a golf minigame, and again, that took me a lot of tries, especially noticeable I have to do a lot of save states, because I really refused to able to actually lose all of my coins in the process, or even bankrupt throughout. And finally, the final music coin is just almost right near to the actual, not only for the blue key room, but also just almost right near to the grey chest was. So, again, not too bad, not too shabby either. So, I guess we should probably just end things off at this point right here. So join me on Thursday for more of Let's Play of Wario Land 3. That we can now able to actually head over to the next sector where it comes to the forms of those music coins. That will head on to the south sector. So, yeah. So I'll see you guys then. Later, dudes.